One, two, winner! I got it. All right, let's go.
Races already. 3, 2, 1, go. Ready?
6 laps final. Alis ka dyan, yan. One, two, three. All right, finally. Woohoo! Good job, guys. Who's second?
Me.
Good job. You third?
Yeah.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Cielshock from USA Mini4wd Drive Racing Squad, and I'm a teacher here at Noobworx. And today, before I start my video, I want to say a shout out to Yon Clothing. Yon Clothing, if you guys are interested with the 90s clothing designs and stuff, giving you some throwback experience, you can purchase it at Yon Clothing website. And you can contact them, but I have the link at the description below. And also, if you guys are interested with my team, Band Royalty, I have my shirts and my Cielshock designs. I'll put it on the description below too. And you can purchase it with Print Nation and Game Buzz. Alright, so today we are going to talk about this car. So you've seen the video of my last race. It was in Massachusetts. Shout out Massachusetts racers. It was in Hobbittown, Turn 4, Boylston, Massachusetts, and my car won first place. If you've seen the video, I have all the runs. It is my Super X chassis built Zach. Alright, so we're gonna break down all the parts of this car. Alright, so let's start. Let's start at the body shell. The body shell is a Buck Blader clear body set. It's item number 15479. Alright, again, it's Buck Blader clear body set 15479. The reason why I picked the Buck Blader is I want it to be unique and I want to match it with all my color matching. You know, I'm so into the color matching. But also, it was a gift from Jonathan Lee from Toronto. Shout out Toronto. I haven't been there. Toronto Mini 4-wheel drive. Shout out. So I like this body shell, so he gave this to me as a gift, and you know, the designs are very nice, so it suits up with this chassis. Alright, let's go to the chassis. So I'm gonna dismantle this. Actually, I'm gonna remove the body damper. We'll discuss the body damper later, but let's get into the other parts first. Alright, as I remove that lock nut, if it's still there. Alright, there it is. Alright, so here you go. As you can see, it is a Super X chassis. As you can see, there's still dirt from racing because this is old, and you can see this is really yellow. Alright, this is it's a Super X chassis white. I don't have the item number, but I have the picture from it because this is really an old chassis. As you can see, this is really yellow. So I will show you the packaging if you can recognize this part, because there's really no item about it in 2 seconds. Alright guys, so there you go. You've seen the picture of the Super X chassis white. As I've told you earlier before, that the Super X chassis white, when it was released, the packaging have no item number, so I just show you the picture for references. Alright, moving on. So we have the Super X chassis white. Why Super X chassis 1 is I want to prove a point that if you really put the time and effort of the chassis that you really like, it can be competitive, because some people told me that Super X chassis is not competitive. Alright, so I just want to prove that point. Alright, so what I did is I bumperless the chassis. The chassis is long, so I want it to be closer to the body for cornering purposes. As you can see how I cut it and how I mount it. We'll discuss the carbon plates later as we move on, but for now I'm going to show you why it's bumperless and it's how it's bumperless. So it was cut like that. It's mounted on two sides and it's got sandwiched like that. You bumperless the chassis so it will be faster in cornering, because the shorter the build is the faster in cornering. And also it makes the car lighter. So I also cut the wing and also cut the bottom of the battery slots over here. So that's to make the chassis lighter, because if you guys all doesn't know, Super X chassis, for all the newbies over there, Super X chassis is also a heavy chassis. It's not the heaviest, but it's also a heavy chassis, so I try to make it as light as possible, but it's very, very tough, so I took advantage of that toughness, so I can cut some parts to make it lighter. So that's one advantage of the Super X chassis. Alright. So as you can see, it's already yellow. It's an old chassis. It's white because for color matching. Nothing special. But I did cut it, because the Super X chassis, if you don't cut it, it's like a U and there's a curve like that. And so it's like a boat. But I want it as flat as possible for stability purposes. But the chassis is very stable to begin with, coming out from the box, because the chassis is white. Alright, moving on. Alright, next part would be the carbon reinforced wheels and tires for Super X chassis 94824. Alright, so this is the carbon reinforced wheels with tires for Super X. It's 94824. Alright, so if you're building a Super X car, you have to buy the right wheels, because Super X, because of its advantage that is stable, because it's wide, if you buy a different kind of wheel, it will be more wider, and you will make your car more slower in the cornering. As you can see, this is an AR chassis. It's already wide, but Super X is wider. If you try to compare it, there you go. If you buy these wheels are extended for stability purposes, but your chassis is already wide. So if you put that here, it will be super wide, and you'll basically your car is gonna be slower in cornering. So you better get the right one. Again, it's item number 94824 for Super X carbon reinforced wheels. So it's closer to the body, so it will not be slower in cornering. Also, it's carbon. I picked carbon because it's lighter. And if the wheels are lighter, your accelerations boost up. You will have less load to your motor, because it's lighter, because it's carbon. And also the wheels are small, and it's also trimmed. It's trimmed to 23 millimeters by Matrixx. Shout out Matrixx, the founder of Noobworx. He made this mega tires, but these are trimmed to 23 millimeters. So one, it's for lesser bounce. If you trim the tires, you have lesser bounce. I'm not saying it's not gonna bounce at all, but you will lessen the bounce of the wheels and tires. And also, I want it small because I want it to be light as much as possible, even though it's already carbon, and I will have that maximum torque. So that's how I compensate it. And also, I want to have a lower landing. But again, also, the braking method and your technique will apply, but it's one factor to make your car land lower when your wheels are smaller, because you have lower center of gravity. Alright, that makes sense. That's carbon reinforced wheel and tire for Super X 94824. And also, if you buy that reinforced wheels, it comes with the tires, which is the hard tires, white, combined with a small diameter offset tread tire 15396. Again, it's item number 15396, small diameter offset tread tire. And that offset tread tire is trimmed to 23 millimeters. And the reason why I used those, because the material of the offset tread tire is slick tires. And now, as you can see, the combination, the slick tire is outer. So I have that torque, because the motor is right in the rear, and you have all that torque pushing the car forward because it's wide, and then the slick tires is in the inner side here up front for cornering purposes. Alright, so it will be faster in cornering, and that's how I compensate it. So small tires, small wheels, and then offset combination with a 15396 small diameter offset tread tires. And then you get the hard tires, this white hard tires, which is a little bit smoother compared to this slick tires, 94824. Alright, so next part. So moving on, we're moving to the high-grade carbon reinforcing plates 15495. Again, it's item number 15495. So we need 3 packs because in one pack we have 2. So 1 for the bumper right here. 2 is for the rear right here. And then 4, 5, 6 for the body damper system. So you cut it. Take a closer look. You cut it like this, board it out. You have a CNC machine, that would be awesome, but if you have rotary tool, that would work too. So like that's 2, that's 1 package, 2, that's 2 packages, and then 3. So you need 6 plates in making this front body damper. Why high grade carbon? Because it's lighter and it's very durable compared to the FRP. So you already have the durability and toughness that you want. And also it's light. Why front body damper? Because I have mentioned below, it goes hand in hand. So I got smaller wheels for lower center of gravity, lower landing, and I want it to be nose diving like this. So when the car jumps, I have that momentum going forward, coming from a slope or from a tabletop. And I got that momentum forward, so it tends to land lower. But again, it also depends on how you set your dampers, if it's loose or tight. But also, it's one big factor when it's up front. It lands forward and lower compared to the rear damper ones. That's the reason why I used front damper on this build. Again, that's high grade carbon reinforced plate 15495, and you need 6 of it. Alright, so at the bumper, I use this so it would be closer to the body as usual for cornering, and as I've said, it's tough and durable because it's carbon. Alright, next part would be the high grade carbon front stay for fully cowled. Item number 94950. Again, it's item number 94950. And this part is kind of rare nowadays because this is one of the first parts that have no logo for the fully cowled carbon front stay. So I cut it like this. So I pretty much traced that. If you guys can pause it or whatever, try to imagine it. It's for my underguard purposes because when the car landed, sometimes if your brake settings are not aligned or whatever, some reason car get hit or something while in the air because it's too light, it can get caught on the track. Some kind of like this when it's running. I'm pretty sure you've seen it in my old videos if you're an old follower. So it saves the car from getting caught like that and losing. Alright, so next part would be the FRP wide front plate for our AR chassis. Item number 15451. Again, item number 15451 is the FRP wide front plate, which is this one. This is the one for my long tail setup. So that's, so you can see if I put in the dimension box, it perfectly fits. There's a little bit of room in there. But that's for my long tail setup, and that's where I put my brakes. So why did I use long tail? So I made long tail for so I have the lower landing and I want a longer landing. So it's low and long and low. Alright, so that's the key. So I want the landing to be low because of center gravity and front damper, low small wheels, and then I want it to be long because of my long tail setup. So you see how the builds come into pieces now. You add 2 and 2 together, how this systems and this build gonna work. So you guys are wondering how does it look like. So I cut this part, if you guys can pause it and cut it to be all straight. You can use rotary tool or CNC machine. I don't have a CNC machine myself, so I just use rotary tool with some cutting disc. Cut the sides. You can also cut those sides if you want, but I just like the design. That's why I like it like that. And then just make sure it's all the way straight. The key is to have a steady hand doing it, and it's all countersunk so it doesn't get caught in the track. Again, that's item number 15451, FRP wide front plate for AR chassis for long tail. Alright. Next part would be the FRP reinforcing plate 15193. And that's the one that I use for my brakes. It's only FRP because I don't have any carbon available anymore. And also I don't think I need it because FRP is good enough. So that's item number 15193. I use it for my front brakes. And I also use it for my long tail setup to extend it to make it longer as much as I can. So you need only one pack. Again, that's item number 15193, FRP reinforcing plate. Alright. Next, let's get into the dampers. I have the mass damper set cylinder black 94985, which is this one. And then I combine it with the adjustable mass damper 2.5 grams weight 95324. So I have those two because I don't want to go too crazy with weight, because as I've said, I want to make the car as light as possible as I can. So I have the cylinder. Again, it's the item number 94985 black because I just want it to be color match. And that's why it's black. You can also use other colors if you want. You just want to go the regular bronze or gold color. Adjustable mass damper 2.5 grams weights 95324, which is this one. So that's the combination that I used for dampers for my front damper. Alright, and then the next damper set that we're using is the Slimline damper set 95435, which is we use the rear to balance it out. You guys must be wondering why I didn't use the block damper, because I want it to be all separated, and I don't need that much weight. So I wanted all separated to balance out the car because the motor is already at the rear. So that's how you balance your car. Two separate Slimline damper set, silver 95435. It's silver because I just want to color match the rollers, but nothing special. You can also use the other Slimline dampers if you want. Alright, so moving on, we're going to the high grade carbon rear multi-setting stay. You need two of that. That's item number 95260. These are the two. That's one for the rear. There you go. If you want a closer look, it was cut and it was put together with a carbon reinforced plate so it can be durable and stronger but still light. Again, that's item number 95260, high grade carbon rear multi-setting stay. That's one at the rear part, as you can see over there. And also, we have one up front right here. So this front part is kind of tricky. So this plate is not put like a normal plate like this. So you can see it was attached by these two attachment holes over here. The front one was attached reversely. So we are using the front part, the rear part over here. That's the one we use up front because the stuff, the attachment points that we're gonna clamp it, we have to make new holes. So that's what I did. I make new holes, and I have some FRP pieces over there to reinforce it. So I have two holes. I made two new holes. So you have to make sure if your racing center allows putting new holes. But if you're racing in a Tamiya official race like the Brickyard or here in the US, this is allowed. So you basically put the multi-setting stay and then reverse it, and then I cut the extended holes. But that's the part that I attach on the bumper, made some holes, glue it, and then pressed it with FRP pieces to make it tougher. Alright, to make it more tough and secure it so there's no movements or any unnecessary twisting from the bumper. Again, that's item number 95260. Alright, so now that we mentioned those two setting stays, I'm gonna mention this very important part, which is the reinforced rear double roller stay 3-point attachment, which some people call it 3PT. It's item number 95381. This one is colored white. Obviously, as you can see, this is for color matching, so that's why it's white. Nothing special about it. I just want it to be color matched. But the reason why I use the reinforced rear double roller stay 3-point attachment is to reinforce this rear part, because if you just put the setting stays attached over there, there's a tendency that this 2 points over here can break to prolonged period of racing through time. And also, this is an old chassis, that's why I'm very skeptical about it, so I want it to be all secure. That's why I use the 3-point attachment over here. I will have a separate video soon, because people were asking me about it, how I do this, especially if you want an Altamia build. The reinforced rear double roller stay, I cut it. So you can see there's a spacer over there. If you can actually, there you go, there's the spacer. There's a spacer. I only took this 3-point attachment so I can put spacers and put the setting stay over there. It's not that complicated. It looks complicated, but it's not once you get ahead of it. So that secures the rear part, and there's no really unnecessary movements to break the chassis. Again, that's item number 95381. And that part is very important, so don't forget about it, especially if you're building rear motor chassis. Alright, moving on. You guys must be wondering why I have these 2 carbon plates over here. These are scraps from a reinforcing plate that I used earlier for my body damper system. So I used that to secure this part, because some weakness that Super X chassis have, this part tends to pop. So I'm gonna show you which part pops by dismantling this. There you go. So you just need to cut this piece like this, and it actually flush through this part. And this piece too, this long. There you go. And so you can see there's like the molding, there's like a little curve over there. So it doesn't move, and it doesn't move on that part. So this part tends to pop when you're racing. This again, this is an old chassis, so this tends to pop. Some people drill holes over here and secure it with a screw, but me personally, I just cut some carbon pieces and then put it like that. There you go. Easy as 1, 2, 3. You just need some carbon pieces to secure it. So I'm pretty sure some people have better ways and some other ways, but this is what works for me, and this is the easiest way that I think that I can teach you guys. So that's the reason why I have those carbon plates on top. Alright. So next part would be the hollow propeller shaft for Super X chassis. Alright. This front part too sometimes pops, but in my experience, it doesn't pop that much as long as you secure it. Some people says put some carbon stuff to secure it across like that. Some people does it. I mean, you can also reinforce it by doing that, by making a hole over there. But me personally, I don't think I need it, so I didn't put one. But if you want to, just for a peace of mind, you can use it. But again, going back to the part, we're using the hollow propeller shaft for Super X chassis 15234. Again, that's item number 15234. Hollow propeller shaft for Super X chassis. Alright. I changed my propeller shaft to hollow propeller shaft because it's lighter, and also this propeller shaft is very durable compared to the stock one, and the shaft is really hard. Alright, next part would be the super speed gear set 15432. Alright, So I want to have as much as top speed as I can because my wheels are already small. That means my top speed gonna suffer. So that means I'm pretty much sacrificing my top speed by using small diameter wheels that are trimmed. So having that lower center gravity and that lower landing that I wanted, there's a sacrifice around it. It's you have to sacrifice your top speed. That's why I'm compensating with a higher gear ratio so I can get as much as top speed as I can. That's item number 15432. So as you guys can observe as I move on to the builds and the parts, there's no such thing as perfect build. You just have to know how to compensate every part that you are using on each build. So again, that's Super Speed Gear Set 15432 for optimal top speed that I can use. Alright, so that's the propeller shaft. We're putting it back. And then we gotta move on as we put this back. The next part would be the high-grade 19mm aluminum ball race rollers ringless Cielshock Challenge 2016. Item number 95272. Yep, that's the item number 95272. Again, that's the item number 95272. The 19mm high-grade aluminum ball race rollers Asia Challenge 2016, which is at this front side. Alright, so this front part, I use 19 because for me 19 is faster when it comes to cornering. I have a separate video about it, about the contact surface and then the size of the rollers. But I use black because for the color matching, and also I use ringless because I don't want to use the one with the O-rings over there. That will just drag my car slower. But the 19mm ringless will be the ideal for my setup. And it's a solid dish type. So it is actually durable compared to the Aero spoke ones and the 5-spoke ones. Again, that's item number 95272, Cielshock Challenge, high-grade 19mm aluminum ball race rollers ringless. Alright, next part would be this. You guys are wondering what are these. These are my infamous small diameter carbon wheels. Item number 15415. This is for Super X chassis. And this comes with a wide arc tires. But I just used 2 of the small diameter wheels. It's carbon, so it's very tough. And it acts as stabilizer. Some people will probably use 17mm as their stabilizer because of the new rule in the Mini 4-wheel drive. You can have unlimited rollers. So they will probably put another roller to stabilize the car. And it will be smoother because it's actually rollers. But for me, I just want a little bite. So you actually cut it like in this shape. So when it actually rides and then the car tips a little bit, it bites, as you can see. I want a little bite. That's why I use this small diameter carbon wheels. You can get it from a pack. It's 15415. Alright. This is very reliable. Actually, it's an old school way, but I still love doing it. Alright. Next, moving on. We got the 17mm aluminum ball race rollers, 3-spoke type. Item number 15161, which is I have 2-pack. It's probably you need 2 packs, so I got 4. 1 and 2. I use 17mm because it's lighter. The 3-spoke type is lighter. As you can see, there's holes in it, so it's lighter. So that's the reason why I use it. And also, I use 17. So I didn't use the rubber O-rings. I made my own. But before I move on to the O-rings that I use, the item number is 15161 once again for the 17mm aluminum ball race rollers at the rear. And then I made my own for the low friction roller set. I got it from a pack 95390, and I remove the middle part and then just snap fit it instead of using the rubber O-rings. I use the low friction roller set and make it an O-ring myself. So when you do that, the outside part of the rollers is 19 millimeters. So it's actually the diameter is actually exactly 19 millimeters. So if you just snap it, your 17 millimeter will have a 19 millimeter diameter with the plastic O-rings. So again, the low friction roller set is 95390, and the 17 millimeter aluminum ball race rollers 3-spoke type is 15161. And the reason why I didn't use the rubber O-rings, because you're basically just dragging the rear part. Because having O-rings at the rear will just put more stress, and it will put more grip to the track wall, and it basically slows your car all throughout the race. So if you have a low friction roller set and you made it as an O-ring, this acts like a low friction O-ring, and plastic against the Mini 4-wheel drive racetrack is just very smooth, and it makes your car have faster acceleration and smoother cornering and faster cornering in general. That's the why I use it. It's pretty easy to make. Eventually, I will also have a video about it. I'm pretty sure some people have videos about it, but if you guys want me to do it, I will make one. But it's just pretty easy. You just board out, take it out, all the stuff in the middle, like cut it, and then trim it, and just snap it. Alright, so next part. So next part would be the aluminum spacers. It's item number 15473. These are the aluminum spacers. So I use a bunch of aluminum spacers, one underneath over there, if it can focus. I don't know if you can see it. So aluminum spacers over here. Aluminum spacers to adjust my brakes. Aluminum spacers to adjust my underguard. And aluminum spacers for my 3-point attachments right there. Alright, right there. There you go. It's pretty visible now. Right there. So that's item number 15473. Why did I use aluminum spacers? Because aluminum spacers, they might be quite heavier compared to the plastic spacers, but they are tougher. And I'm using a strong motor on this one, so I need more durability. Again, item number 15473, aluminum spacers. Alright, let's build this bud damper again. So you guys must be wondering, what is this? This is the AO1002 metal bushing set, item number 94381. This is the one that I use to hold my springs. And my springs are AO1034 sliding damper spring set, item number 103005. Again, item number 103005, AO1034 sliding damper springs. So the sliding damper springs actually goes here, and I use the soft ones. There you go. Next part is the 2mm lock nuts, AO1015 94690. Right here. And they're silver, so they basically color match. There's 10 in the pack. If you're racing Ultimate races, that's very important. Again, lock nuts are really good. They're item number AO1015, item number 94690, 2mm lock nuts. Alright, as we wrap this up, we are showing you this motor. So I'm using Sprint Dash motor. You guys must be wondering why I'm using Sprint Dash. I can use this build for Power Dash, but I prepare Sprint Dash. Sprint Dash motors, item number 15318. Again, it's item number 15318, Sprint Dash motor. I'm getting a lot of questions about the Sprint Dash, how to use these motors, because they think it's slow. All right, this is very important. I want you to guys listen closely about this, because sprint dash is tricky. Things that people that don't pay attention and doesn't know about sprint dash. Sprint dash is a fast motor. It does a lot. It does have a lot of RPM straight out from the box, and then if you break in this motor, you can push this up to higher RPM or top speed. Depends just how you want to push it and how you want to make it, how you want to make your build specifically for this motor. All right, so let me go to the characteristics of this motor. So this motor have a lot of top speed. It's actually fast and can reach a certain amount of speed that will almost the same to the Ultra Dash, which is not allowed to the race. So Ultra Dash have top speed and torque. Sprint Dash, in the other hand, doesn't have that torque that Ultra Dash have. That's why it's overlooked. So people think Sprint Dash is slower because of that lack of torque. Compared to the Power Dash, especially if you're racing short tracks, Power Dash have a lot of torque, but the top speed of the Power Dash actually is lesser compared to the Sprint Dash straight out from the box. And even though you break in the Power Dash, Sprint Dash is way faster and have higher top speed or RPM compared to the Power Dash. A lot of people will argue about this, and a lot of people will debate about this, but one thing that they don't know about the Sprint Dash is Sprint Dash doesn't have that torque. This motor is built for top speed, just like RevTune in tuned motors. So that means this motor have to have lesser load compared to a Power Dash or Ultra Dash to perform well. So Power Dash have a lot of torque. So even though it does have the heaviest setup or a big wheel or lower or a higher or a lower gear ratio, it looks faster on a short track, especially on a technical track. Sprint Dash, on the other hand, doesn't have that torque and power that will make it look fast on a technical, on a short track. So where will I use this motor? I will basically use this on a track layout that is big, long, not a lot of technical, and a lot of straights, which is, I use this motor on that last Hobbytown Turn 4 Boylston, Massachusetts event. Being that said, I break down all the parts for you. So the Sprint Dash have lesser torque. That means it needs less load to perform more. So what we did is we made the car as light as possible. I'm gonna show you how light this car is. Alright. So this is my weighing scale. So I have 120 grams. 120 grams without the batteries. That's pretty light. So it's a full build, not full carbon, but it's 120 grams. So having less weight on your car without the batteries in total, obviously if I use a lighter battery, that will perform good too. But having lesser weight on the overall build helps the motor to have lesser stress on the performance of the motor. Two, the wheels are small, so it doesn't take much for the Sprint Dash to give power, even though there's not a lot of torque on the Sprint Dash if you have a smaller wheel. So it only takes some power, not that much, because the wheels are small, so it acts like an easy way for the Sprint Dash to have that acceleration or torque that it doesn't have. So it doesn't have a lot of load for the Sprint Dash to have a full revolution or to push the whole car. That's the reason why I have small diameter wheels. And also it's carbon, so it's very light, so that's why the Sprint Dash pushes it more and look fast on my video. And also obviously the track layout comes hand in hand, but that's one factor why my car looks really fast on that race, because I compensate the weakness of the Sprint Dash. Also, the gear ratio come in play. I have 351. It might have more load. If you're gonna ask me, if you guys watch my gear ratio, the people that races for a while will be like, hold on, 351 is a lot of load. It's heavy for the motor. But yes, it's right. But because I have small diameter wheels, it compensates that load. Instead of being a burden for the Sprint Dash or a lot of load for the Sprint Dash to push it, it's easier for the Sprint Dash to push it because I have overall lightweight Super X chassis build, and also I have carbon light trimmed small diameter carbon reinforced wheels trimmed to 23 in the combination of the 351 gear ratio. So what I basically did is, by doing the overall setup and making my wheels really small, compensate all the weakness of the Sprint Dash, make the car light so it can push power even though I'm running 351 gear. And again, if asking me why 351 gear, why I didn't use 41 gear or 51 or 421 just to give lesser load to the Sprint Dash, I want to have that top speed that I lost, because I need as much as top speed that I need, because I sacrificed some of my top speed because of having a small diameter trim wheels. Make sense? You guys can pause and repeat the things that I've said if you guys for you guys to have better understanding about this video. It's kind of tricky because Sprint Dash is really tricky, but eventually you'll get it once you get a hand of this motor, because not a lot of people are using it because they think this is not competitive too. But by using the 351 gear, I have that top speed that I want, and I push this to the optimal speed that I wanted for the Sprint Dash to perform. Alright, so I have last two parts to discuss. I have the AO620. I need 2 packs for that. I have AO620s over there. You probably can't see it, but there's one. I have 4 AO620s. Why do I use AO620s? For me, AO620s are the best bearings out there. They're very durable, they're very fast. You just need to clean it. I've been featuring it for every car that I have. Last but not the least is the 18th pinion gear set, 15289. So you can buy it on an extra pack. Item number 15289. And I prepare plastic compared to carbon. I use carbon too, don't get me wrong, but plastic for me is just way grippier because carbon can, you know, it can get loosened up if you put too much oil. Alright, so all in all, light setup, small diameter wheels, high speed gear, Sprint Dash motor, Super X chassis, shortened Super X chassis for optimum cornering, smaller wheels for shorter landing, for lower landing, for more center gravity, small wheels so it will not fly out, it lessens the bounce, long tail setup for longer landing, and Sprint Dash motor for top speed and for more non-technical layouts. And there you go, that's your Super X chassis. Alright, so before I go, I'm just actually do a quick speed check. So you guys are wondering how fast is this car. And because we're doing some speed check, we are going to use our high-speed Matrixx oil. Alright. If I find it. Alright, let's see. I'm going to open a new pack. Alright. So we have our high-speed Matrixx oil. If you guys are interested with high-speed Matrixx oil, I got the link at the description below. Alright, so we're using we're dropping some over there. Just enough for it. For orders too, for high-speed Matrixx oil, I got the description. I got the link at the description below. Alright, so we're pushing this to 1.56 volts. And we are going to do a quick speed check. Because I'm getting a lot of questions, how fast is this car? Alright, 351 gear ratio, 23mm wheels. Here we go. Alright, so there you go. It's 46 kilometers per hour, 1.56 volts. So imagine that if I'm running a higher wheel, a bigger wheels. This is only 23mm. Alright, so again, this is Cielshock from City USA Mini 4wd Drive Racing Squad. I'm a teacher here in Noobworx. Don't forget to hit like. Don't forget to hit subscribe. If you guys don't like this video, hit dislike too. If you have any comments, any question, just hit me up in here in YouTube, and I will try to answer it as much as possible. And maybe you can share us your Sprint Dash or Super X experience. Again, this is Cielshock. We learn from you, learn from us. Always race humble. Peace.